Hey, welcome back to the lab, fellas. Hopefully you've been following along with me on our journey of how we designed the S-Series rear support system for the 56mm cam as well as the 4990 cam. We're going to do a legit installation video and we'll get this thing on the truck. It's going to be a super slam dunk easy deal. So come on, hang out with me. Let's put this thing on the truck and let's get her done. Okay, got you guys up on the stand. I've learned that coming back over my left arm is the best way to do these videos because I'm not going to be having my hands in your way. Now, here's my new Epic water bottle. I'll put a link to this. I'm loving this thing. It's got a filter at the bottom of the straw. I'm loving it. These guys reached out to me. Their stuff is made in the USA just like M2C Racing's. So I decided I'd give them a shot, and I'm loving it. The water tastes so great out of that thing. Anyway, let's get to the installation. Okay, what we're going to do first is we're going to do the 4990. Okay, now this will go in the M2C standard rear motor mount on the M2C chassis. And what we're going to do is we're going to use one of the existing holes here to put this unit onto the back of this motor, and it will be adjustable when we're done. It's a tight fit, but it fits perfect, and this thing is solid as a rock when we get done with it. So let's get to it. All right, so first thing you want to do is install the M2C motor mount, which there's another video on that. The second thing we're going to do is, I should have took this slide off. We're going to install the slide with a hand screwdriver, okay? Do not use an electric screwdriver to install the included 10mm screws into your motor. Now it's going to be very important that you clock, this has 6 holes, so it's going to be very important that you clock your wires in relation to the top flat of that motor, okay? Just like this, so that our rear brace will fit right, and your wires will be pointed in the up direction, which is going to give you the most room to get to your ESC. Now, the way I do this is I'll spin it down because you're listening for a crunch or for that screw to stop. Now, Hobbywing has made these things outstanding, and they're just a very well-made motor. Very well-made motor, and this rear mount is specifically for the Hobbywing. It might fit other stuff. I'm hoping it will. Hopefully they're copying Hobbywing because the design really works. Okay, so, but that said, we got our motor mount on our motor slide on our motor. So now we got that ready to go. That being said, I'm going to tell you now that with the 5mm motor, the minimum pinion that you can run on this motor mount is going to be a 12. Okay, a 12 will mesh. And with the previous design slide, you could not get the 12 to mesh with the third screw. That's okay. It's no big deal. You don't have to buy a new slide. Okay, because the 2 bolts that hold this motor on the top are sufficient. Okay, the bottom hole isn't doing that much. Okay, so the minimum is a 12, and the maximum, the biggest one I've got in a 5mm is a 32, and it will fit, and you will still have room to have the top 2 bolts in. Okay, you won't get the third bolt in, obviously, because you've got this huge pinion on. So it looks like we're going from 12 to 32 on that one, and I've got these sitting here. It's 18 to 35 on the second one. We'll review that when we get to that motor. It's the same process for both motors. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use some special tools and a special template to drill a new hole in the chassis. Okay, so I'm going to tilt this over and I'll zoom in on this. Okay, we're going to drill that hole in this chassis. In order to do that, you have to remove this brace. Okay, this brace goes here. Okay, and it screws in there. Okay, so you got a screw coming that way, a screw coming down, and a screw coming from the bottom of the chassis. All right. So now an M2C chassis is required to use this unless you're really creative. I'm not saying you can't be really creative, but I strongly recommend our chassis. Let's get this big motor out of the way. So what we're going to do is, I don't remember what went here. I think it's the previous ESC plate, which you have to remove to get our reverse motor mount on anyway. I do believe that's what those 3 holes are for. It's been so long since, it's been over 2 years since we took the truck apart, so it's hard to say. But you're going to take this drill template, okay, and it says 1447 2 chassis. Yours will, this is the prototype, yours will be black. It says 1447 2 chassis, okay, and that's going to go on these 2 holes, the hole that that brace came out of and this hole here. And we're going to put this writing to the chassis. And what we're going to do is we're going to screw, where's one of those screw guys? Oh no. We're going to take these 2 4mm screws that come with this little drill template, and we're going to screw those in right here. I'm going to try to stay out of your way. Always start them and then tighten them. I'm just lightly tightening them and letting them position themselves. You don't have to use a screw gun on it, but I do. Now, what that's going to do is now there's another hole in this thing. So what we're going to do, my chassis is already drilled, so I'm just going to go through the motions with you. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this thing stabilized, and we're going to load up the included 1/8 inch drill bit, and we're going to drill through. Ooh, she's dead. All right, we're gonna get this chassis secured somewhere. We're going to use our safety glasses. I'm not actually drilling, so I don't need mine. We're going to use our safety glasses because you only got 2 chances against being blind. Use your safety glasses. 2 chances at not being blind. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this, and we're going to drill through the chassis. Okay, my battery's so dead that the drill won't even spin. Super prepared. But like I said, I've already drilled my hole, so it ain't that big of a deal. All right. Now that I've drilled the hole from the top, I'm going to take my center drill. Now, we cut these in half because they're all imported and the price is doubled on this thing. These things are 12 bucks a piece now, so we're cutting them in half. You only need just the very tip of them, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to load that in the drill. See, we're only using just barely the tip. So half of it is more than sufficient. Okay, we're going to remove our template because we're done with that. So take these 2 4mm, I believe these are by 10 screws. Put them in your bolt bin and set this aside because you're done with it. Then we're going to take our chassis and we're going to set it on something solid. Okay, and you're going to slowly and carefully drill the hole out. Okay, you're going to drill the hole out. Now, when just that tip of that drill gets to your chassis, you're going to want to put your screw in. All right, your 3mm screw. And what you want to do is you want to keep going just a touch at a time. Do not drill through your chassis or you will be sorry. You're going to want to go through just a touch at a time until you get that screw head below the surface. Okay? Be careful. You're going to have a big old hole in your chassis if you're not careful. Okay? Now that we got that hole, we can put this in our toolbox because we can put a 3mm flathead screw in anything with this little drill. So put that aside. We're done using that. I'll charge my drill up and we'll be able to use it again in the future. So now that we're there, what we're going to do is I've already got everything open, so we don't have to struggle through that. We're going to take our 1450 That's for the bigger motor. We're going to take our 1434 and we're going to install our slide block on it. Now it does go a certain way, so you can see that it's a little thicker towards the inside of the car. A little thicker there, all right? You can see it's a little bit more of a thin wall there, so we got more adjustment. Hopefully you can see that. I'll try to zoom in on it. Okay, I've already put this one together, so we're going to screw that together using the two M3 screws that come with it, right? Then we're going to install our motor. Now we don't need to set our mesh yet. We're just going to install the motor. We're going to get it close. I'm just going to stick this gear on here. You'll want to Loctite your gear. I'm just going to stick this gear on here because I just want it close, right? Now I'm going to put one bolt in it. I'm going to put one screw and the right screw there. Probably could have had that out for you. Okay, so I'm just going to put him down. I'm going to put one screw in. I'm going to set my mesh to however I like it. So what you can do to set your mesh is use a piece of paper, or I think we have a perfect mesh adjuster for this car, not positive, but set the mesh the way you want it and then get her locked down. Just install one screw here for now, or you can set your mesh and install both. Either way, it doesn't matter. Okay, now what we're going to do is, now that we have this put together, we're going to put the rear on the motor. Okay, now until you lock this thing down, it might appear that you might be in a bind or something, but it's because it's perfectly centered. On the chassis I'm working with here, there was, I think, 2 thou difference between the front and back of the motor. So I was very happy with that, because that could be inconsistencies in the actual material itself. 1 thousandths is 1 hair, split long ways 4 times. So that gives you a frame of reference. Now that we got this pushed up all the way on the back, you can see that we're lining up to these holes. Now, hopefully I can get a shot of that. This is the bare minimum pinion that we're setting right now. So we're all the way up against the holes. Okay, so next we're going to take the little bit longer 3mm screws and we're going to put the 1448 locking block on top of here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start these by hand, of course, because you don't want to destroy your brand new parts. Okay, so we're going to start these by hand. And we've got 2 screws. So we'll start these by hand. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little piece of something. So I'm just going to grab a little piece of something. I'm going to use a Post-it note, fold it in half. And that should be about 8 thousandths, right? So now, I tighten it down. So I'm just going to snug that like that, very loosely. I'm going to back it off. Now everything's pretty stiff right now because I got a lot of screws in here. I'm going to put this on, put this on here, in between the gears. Push that over, make sure that it's nice and seated in there, just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to lock that down. If I had a second screw out here, I would install the second screw as well. And I think that is not the right screw. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to lock my lower screws down. Okay, Now, you might want to put some Loctite on these. Blue Loctite. This is a small screw. And don't forget you got it on there. You can use blue Loctite if you like. Now, as you can see, the head of my screw is below the top. And this is drilled here at M2C. So, right now, we are done with this installation. Our mesh is set. Our motor mount is so solid that it's ridiculous. I didn't screw that pinion mount down. But now, we've created the ultimate motor mount system for this truck. Ain't nothing else even gonna come close. So, the only difference between this system and the 5690 is that the 5690 is going to come with its own slide. Because the 5690 uses a 30mm bolt pattern. It's got the 1451, and the 5690 will have the 1450 rear plate because it's bigger. All right, so that's how easy it is to do this job. Nothing to it. You might want to set your mesh a different way. I mean, that works, but that'll wrap it up for this installation. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and don't forget to check out our Epic water filters, because I'm really digging this thing. There'll be a link below with a 15% off coupon. Thanks for joining me.